With thanks to my Patreons Ellie Nicole, Karol Smaczynski, Skylar Krishnik, and Uncle Chop Chop. Thank you for supporting the channel. Today we're looking at the brand new release of the OBASS from Orange. The guys who make the amplifiers? Yes, the guys who make the amplifiers. The good people over at Orange have asked me to review their new OBASS, and I've been looking after this one for a few weeks. Just for the sake of full transparency, I have not been compensated in any fashion for this video. And as always, my opinions remain my own. Straight after this video, this bass will be heading back to Orange, where I'm going to feel quite sad about it. The OBASS was originally launched for a limited time during 2015. Orange have now decided a re-release or a Mark II version was now in order. This time with some modifications and some tweaks. Let's start with aesthetics, shall we? It wears its influences on its sleeves and definitely reminiscent of an LP inspired bass that caters to the rock and roll vintage look. This newer bass features a beautiful ivory binding around the entirety of the bass, making it quite striking at a distance. The wood choice is very interesting. The original models had either rosewood or ebony fingerboards, while the newer models now have purple heart, but has retained its original maple neck. Purple heart is likely to be a substitute for rosewood, although the change has a negligible effect on the tone. I'm sure I've heard rosewood is having sustainability and shipping issues over the past few years, so this could explain the change to purple heart. Same goes for the body, which happens to be made of akume, an African hardwood which happens to be lightweight. Some websites have suggested it's softer than basswood and is a mahogany substitute. Typical uses can be found in interior decorating and boat making. Who'd have thought? Scale length is 34 inches like you'd find on any other bass. The nut width is slightly wider than you would normally expect. If jazz basses are 1.5, precision basses are 1.6, the OBASS is 1.7. Unusual, yes, but not to its detriment. During play, I found the neck to be extremely comfortable and sleek. The back of the neck has a black painted gloss, which is a very hearty and solid piece of wood to hold on to. The heel of the neck is almost flat, which I love. It gives the bass a great ergonomic feel and an absolute joy to play those top frets. Coupling the finish with the size of the neck, the bass does an excellent job at making me reconsider how I approach playing the bass. It felt different. I'm going to be using feel or felt a lot during this interview because the bass just feels different, okay? Hence my song choices for this video. It really gave off a disco Motown vintage vibe that just feels right on this bass. Looking at the electronics, you'd be fooled into thinking this is all very familiar. It's not. The pickup is a custom wound split coil made in-house by Orange, and some speculators online have suggested it was based on a 57 or a 62 precision. Again, reaching straight back to that vintage vibe. I often express a dislike for split coil pickups. However, I must say these ones are incredibly impressive. More often than not, I always run a compressor when I play. Active, passive, 4-string, 5-string, doesn't matter, compressor always on. However, on this bass, I didn't need it. The clarity of the notes and the output of the volume is eerily consistent, from the bottom of the neck all the way down to the top. The pickups were purposely designed to be placed 8mm closer to the neck. Could 8mm make a difference? I don't know, but as I say, I am impressed. Alongside this, you'll find the volume and tone knob. I don't know about you guys, but when I play bass, the tone knob is almost certainly wide open. I never even considered touching it in any way. However, on the OBASS, it felt, there's that word again, it felt natural to roll off the tone. I can't explain it. The tone at 100% is perfectly fine, as I shall demonstrate, but it didn't feel right. As a result, turning the tone down to 75 or 50% gives the bass a beautiful, warm, bouncy-like quality that just felt right to me. Here's a quick sample of the tone at 100%. Unfortunately, this bass is not without its faults. I say faults, I'm kind of clutching at straws if I'm being honest. However, there are a few things I'm not a fan of. This even sounds stupid saying this, but the bass doesn't have a horn. 9 times out of 10, I play sitting down and I use the horn to situate the bass on my lap. It doesn't have a horn. I mean, God, what type of first world problem is that, huh? More seriously, the bass does suffer from a severe neck dive. If you let go of the bass, it will drop to the floor. A horn in this instance would be really useful too. Very risky when standing up, but sitting down, you should be fine. Other than that, I have some quality of life issues. I am still talking about the bass. I would prefer to have the truss rod cover at the bottom of the neck. At the moment it's situated at the top. But really, you shouldn't have to touch the truss rod all that regularly, so it's not the end of the world in a great scheme of things. In my opinion, Orange have brought a unique spin on a vintage sound and the results are impressive. This OBASS is made in China, and with that said, it is surprisingly well made. I played cheap overseas basses and this ain't one. The finishes and quality control are excellent. There are no overhanging frets, the nut is perfectly positioned, it was set up really well. Everything is really comfortable and smooth. I can't stress that enough. It's such a smooth, comfortable bass. Really, really well done, and it feels great in the hands. The hardware is pretty standard, nothing to write home about. The volume knobs and bridge are solid and have no issues. Tuner keys are pretty stable too. There was no slipping during play and the bass held tune overnight. Lastly, I thought this was a nice touch. The bass comes with 2 scratch plates, giving you another layer of personality and customization. The old classic witch bass, tortoise or white ivory. Humorously, I must add, I quite like the gig bag. It's a really good quality. Gig bags aren't usually the thing you look at when you're buying a bass. Truth be told, the orange one is a great quality, and if you're into that sort of thing, you will love it. The OBASS will be available from the 12th of August, retailing at $399 in the UK and $550 in the US. You can buy a bass that sounds just as good or better than its contemporaries in this price range, with the added premium flair, bold rock shape and colourful touches that makes this bass pop to life. It's a solid bass with a very lovely vintage sound, and I feel like in the right circumstance, you will absolutely love this bass. Definitely go and give it a try, you will not be disappointed. My thanks to Orange for supporting the channel and letting me review the OBASS, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.